Her money
You
is
the
on the scene.
Hey, y'all. Hello, hello, hello. Everybody come on in. We are live.
Wow.
For the new year.
20 and 21.
We have not seen you guys.
We ain't seen y'all.
For the new year.
Hey, y'all.
Happy new year. If you guys are coming in and you're watching the replay, we want to know if you're watching the replay. Make sure that you type replay in the comment section. We have a good one for you today.
What? But as you come in, can you say hello to us? It's been a minute. We ain't talked in a little while.
We have not.
So we need to feel the love of the people.
Y'all haven't forgotten about us, right?
Y'all still got love for us or what, man?
It's been good intentions. You all legit, like we came into the new year running. And so we're now having to, be able to sit down and actually come on.
Yeah. What's up, Tawana and Jillian and Dee and Christina? Thank you so much for shouting us out.
As Shelly. You all come in, share. Okay. Y'all always show us so much love. Share. Hit the share button. And invite your family, invite your friends. This is going to be a good topic today that you don't want to miss. I think that we all need to be prepared in more ways than one. So we're going to kind of go in and go deep.
And YouTube and Facebook, we need y'all to hit that whole thumbs up real
hit it, y'all.
Quick.
Come on. Hey, so Jerome, we missed y'all too.
All the algorithms. Tell all the algorithms that the His and Her Money show is on. So hit that thumbs up.
Thank y'all. Everybody saying Happy New Year's. Happy New Year.
Where y'all from, man?
Hey,
we recognize
some
of y'all. We don't recognize everybody. Tabitha, what's up? Just Quitter.
Christina.
Savon, what up, Savon? You always come through. Jackie, what up?
She does.
Jillian, Lanisha. Hey, y'all. Share this thing. Hit the thumbs up real quick before we get into this thing that we're about to get into. Why are you excited?
I'm just excited about this topic. I feel like as the His and Her Money show that we have a responsibility to really equip you guys with tools, with resources, and with information. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of always want to make sure that we're coming to you all with valid information. And I feel like this is a topic that we've talked about before, but not in this detail.
Yeah.
Like we talked about wills and trust and things like that. But we didn't really go beyond that. So this particular episode is going to talk about how to have your family prepared for emergencies.
Shout out to everybody that's coming in. We're about to start the show in just a second. We got a special guest laying in the wings that can't wait to holler at y'all and educate y'all. But as you come on in, if you ain't hear us already,
a few weeks. Welcome.
We need you to hit that thumbs up,
that
likes y'all. On Periscope. Tap the screen, make the hearts flow. All right, we're about to start the show in 3.
Y'all ready?
2, 1.
Let's go.
There you go. Hey, welcome back to the His and Her Money Show. I'm Talent.
And I'm Ty, and we're from hisandhermoney.com, where we teach you how to have better money,
become a better couple,
and live a better life.
Yo, we are super glad to be with you guys in the year of 20 and 21. Yep. Man, it's been a whole minute since we got to hang with y'all. We didn't see you guys
until last year. So
haven't seen y'all since last year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Martin Luther King Day.
Yes.
And every other holiday that we done missed between the New Year and right now.
That's right.
Love y'all. We just been working, trying to make things better.
That's right.
For you guys. And we're here. And we're excited to be here with you guys. We're going to talk about something that you ain't been talking about. And you know the stuff that you ain't been talking about is what Talent and Ty talk about, so that you can start talking about it, so you can start making your life a little bit better.
So come in, share this video, hit the share button. Even if you're watching the replay, hit replay, type replay in the comment section, and also hit share. This video, this episode, we're live right now. We're going to be talking about how to prepare your family for emergencies. You don't want to miss this. So if you're on your lunch break, take notes. If you're not on your lunch break,
while you're chewing your sandwich, make sure you're writing stuff down.
If you're teaching kids remote learning like we are, like you might get a child to come in here. That's okay.
It's okay.
This is going to be important.
One of them children might come in here with a question. Y'all just rock with us, okay? We're all in this together.
Y'all ready? Okay.
All right. So today we have a very special guest. She's been on the show before, and y'all loved everything that she shared then.
Yep.
And now she's coming back with some brand new knowledge to drop on you guys. So be prepared to take notes. We about to hit
and
y'all.
Ask your questions. So we want to make sure that we get some of your questions answered too.
Shout out to
watching from South Africa.
Bon Ghani.
Welcome.
Thank you. So we got Chelsea Brennan. She's in the wings and she's about to come on and drop some wisdom, guys. Yo, everybody say hey to Chelsea. What up?
Hey, Chelsea, welcome.
Ty. Thanks for having me back.
So happy to have you back. Last time you were here, oh my gosh, they absolutely loved you. When you speak, you come with a wealth of information and knowledge, and I know that today is going to be no different.
So some people, though, they may not have been here last time you were here. So can you say hello to everybody that's tuned in and let the people know what you are all about?
Absolutely. My name's Chelsea Brennan. I'm the founder of Smart Money Mamas, and I help moms view money as self-care, as a way to make their lives better, have less stress, and build wealth that lasts generations with their kids. And so my background, I came from hedge fund management. If you saw me on the last episode, that's what we talked about. I was deep in investing, and I left about a little over 3 years ago to start Smart Money Mamas and work on this platform full time. I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to talk about a topic that is not sexy. It's not glorious. It's not spectacular with butterflies in your stomach and fireworks in the air. But we're about to talk about something that needs to be doggone talked about.
Yeah. And I want to ask, I guess I'll ask the first question. We're going to be talking about how to prepare your family for emergencies for 2021 and beyond. Talk about how you got started in this area. Why did you get started in this area? And how important is it to everyone that's living, everyone that's even on this live right now?
Absolutely. So I got started in this area when I was pregnant with my first son. And so I'm the breadwinner in our house. My husband is an amazing stay-at-home dad. And at that point in our lives, I managed all of our money stuff, right? From passwords to absolutely everything. And so I was sitting in one of those dingy doctor's offices that you have to go to get your your life insurance exam. I don't know if any of you have ever sat in that place. And I was 7 months pregnant, and I'm thinking, okay, we're getting the life insurance that we need, this big payout. But if something happens to me, my husband will have no idea what to do with this money, right? Like, from a very basic level, we're talking a 7-figure life insurance policy. And I knew that was going to overwhelm him in a really big way. Like, how do I actually make this last for the things that Chelsea said it was supposed to last for? How do I even log in to our investment accounts? Like, yeah, we talked about money. We sat down and we had our money meetings, but I was still the one who did the logging in, who did the transfers. And so as I started to think about that and get some real anxiety about what that would look like for him, I started to write things down, and we started to create a plan. And one of the first things was I wrote a 1-page investing thing for him of like, this is our investing system. This is what I would want you to do. Like, day one, when you get that life insurance check, do this, then do this, then do this. And it grew over time because both my parents lost a parent when they were young. And so talking to them about what that looked like in their house, what that looked like when all of a sudden somebody who managed 50% of some stuff in the house, whether it was finances, whether it was getting the kids to school and dropping them at sports, when that person was no longer there, what was the shock like to the family? And so my husband and I built out what we call our family emergency binder. And over time, as I talked about it on social media, as we talked about it on the blog, we heard more and more stories of people going through really, really hard times that were made harder by the information not being available that they needed. And so we took our family emergency binder, we turned it into one fillable document that any family can use. It's easy to update because it's completely digital. And started to sell it because we want more families to not be stuck in a really hard situation where somebody is incapacitated or separated from the family for some period of time or passes away and that information isn't there.
Man, as you were talking, I can resonate with that. As the wife, as the woman in my home, I tend to be the more administrative, right? Mm-hmm. And he's always asking me, Ty, where's this document?
Where is it?
And we have a file cabinet. I don't know if y'all can see. We're not gonna turn the camera, but like right over there, yeah. Like he can literally go over there, open it up, and find whatever it is that he needs. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Too many times in a family, one spouse knows majority of the information, the financial information, where to find special documents, medical records, all of that. Like just the other day, he asked me, "What's our children's doctor's names?" And our children have been going to that doctor for How many years?
I have no idea how long it's been.
Have you ever been to an appointment?
Not one.
And that's okay. Like, I'm like so okay with that. But I think that these are things that
I need to know.
exactly. And so that's why I'm so excited that we're talking
Because
about
one day
this
I
topic
might
today.
need to. I may need to be the one to take them.
That's right. Because I might be on a flight somewhere, like, I don't know, like vacation or what.
Or speaking at somebody's conference.
Okay. Hey, come on.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Hopefully it'll be just a scheduled appointment for them. But I think that this is so important that we talk about this. So I see you all coming in. I see you guys saying, I need to know more about this. Yes, you do. Everybody should have a family emergency binder. So we're going to talk about what goes into that binder. I do want you to share some stories because I'm sure that you came across so many different stories just to kind of tell people how this can hit home. Like, you never want to not be prepared.
Can I ask a question though to you,
Go
Chelsea?
ahead.
What about if there's two people? Like Ty is like super duper
I
organized.
like it. I love it.
Like this is her jam.
I love it.
This is her jam. And so
For
yeah,
people.
I don't know stuff. Ty knows everything, but there's households where they're both just going through life.
Yeah.
They're both going day to day because they got this response, that response, and they're just trying to tread water. So why should we, with all that's going on in the world, being a husband, being a wife, being a mother, being a father, being an employee, being an employer, why do I need to hit the pause button and figure out this emergency binder situation? Give me the why I should pay attention to this.
I'm actually going to give you the big, we talked about this not being a sexy topic. I'm going to give you the, less sexy answer in a second, the one that's really big, important, but one that actually can help your relationship. I want to give you that answer first. And one of my favorite things that I hear from people who buy the Family Emergency Binder is that it started valuable money conversations and life conversations with their partner. One person bought it, the husband or the wife, and they started to fill it out and they reached to sections where they didn't know the answer. They didn't, just like Tyler, they didn't know the doctor's name and contact information. And so they had to come to their spouse and say, hey, what is this? How do I feel? What information goes here? And so they divide and conquer, they fill it out and discuss it together. And so it's a starting point to really make sure you both are understanding everything that's happening in your financial life. And then the next level of that we've heard a lot is that once you as a couple have done it, this is a great starting point as a conversation with your parents. So many of us have parents that are aging that we maybe never have had money conversations with before. And we are likely the executors of their estate. We are likely the person who is in charge of their medical care or their finances if they get sick as they get older. And if we don't know where their documents are, that's going to be a heck of a lot harder. And so when you get to say, hey, mom and dad, I just filled out this thing and I learned a ton of interesting information, and you just start to tell them about it, that's easier for them to then say, oh, I should fill that out, than you coming to them and being like, you have to tell me all your financial information, right? Much more difficult. But from a big picture, life happens. And unfortunately, we saw so much in 2020 that unexpected things happen. Very healthy people get sick. People get laid off. And in those instances, there is a ton of paperwork and stuff that has to happen, right? We have to change bank accounts. We have to notify people. We have to contact your partner's employer because they are in the hospital and sick and can't come to work, and you have to access their benefits. And those things, those moments are so emotionally heavy for you, for your kids. And it is made 10 times more complicated when, instead of being able to handle your grief, take care of your kids, take care of yourself, you have to be making 15 hours of phone calls to get the information that you need just to access their benefits, just to make sure you have access to your bank account. And so the Family Emergency Binder, it takes a little bit of legwork. It takes some organization. People like me and Ty, that's a lot of fun, right? But if it's not, it's an opportunity. It's an act of love, is what we tell people all the time. It is a way to make sure your family is protected no matter what happens, no matter if you mentally or physically are not there to take care of it for them. You've already done it in advance.
Yeah. What I love about, since you're talking about the Family Emergency Binder, you guys come in, share this. We really want people to be prepared for 2021 and beyond. What I love about the binder, now something that we do here at His and Her Money, for the most part, we at least try to kind of vet out things before we bring it to you guys. So everybody just can't come on our show. They can't share their resources and things like that without us first vetting it and making sure that, hey, we trust it for ourselves. So we trust with you all, like you all are family to us. One of the things that I love about this binder, you sent it to us. We had an opportunity to look it through. I love how detailed it was. I'm a very detailed person. I love organization, but for somebody like my husband, he's not so detailed that you didn't leave any stone uncovered. So he would be able to literally go through it line by line, fill in the blanks. I love that you have two options. When people get this emergency binder, they can either print it out or fill it out. But you have so much. I mean, you gave me some things to think about, honestly. So much in this binder, from medical stuff to even smallest little things such as your kids' doctors, financial, bank account information. I think it's so important. I think about in my mind when I lost my grandmother, my mother and her siblings, they were trying to find things in the midst of mourning, in the midst of grief, in the midst of trying to plan a funeral, also having to try to find things. Who owns her car? Where do we go? Like, I remember that. And I was younger
Still.
then. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. And I was young.
15
We had
years
just got
ago.
married.
Yeah.
Yep, 15 years ago. And I never planned a funeral or anything like that. But I remember that moment of feeling of chaos, of feeling uncertain, not knowing everything. So I want you to share a story. You have a lot of different stories. I want you to share some stories, because I believe that when you tell stories, other people can relate to it. And if they can't, it can at least provoke them to do something differently. So share a story that you may know that kind of touched you, and kind of hone in on the importance of preparing your family financially and for an emergency.
Sure, absolutely. So, one of the downsides of having this product is that we get a lot of people who buy it in their worst moments, right? They email us and they say, I just lost a spouse, I just lost a parent, I just lost a child. And I'm realizing how important this is, right? Or my husband is incapacitated and in the hospital, and I don't know how to pay the bills. And so, this is a small story, but we had a woman who that happened. Her husband got in a car accident, was on life support. He, thank God, survived. But at the time, she was emailing us and she was like, I literally don't know how to pay the power bill. Like, I can call and try to figure out who our utilities are, but they're asking for our account number and I don't know it. And so there was this whole rigmarole that she had to go to just to keep the lights on. Not to mention the fact that, like, we talk about her employer, her husband's employer. She thought he had disability insurance. She wasn't sure. They never talked about it in an in-depth way. And she didn't even know, she like knew his direct manager's name, but she didn't know how to contact them. So she had to call the main company line, ask for the office that her husband worked in, and try to work her way to the right HR person. And all of this stuff that it's hard to convey in when these stories are being told to us, of people just saying, I'm so tired. I just want to be sitting in the hospital with him. I just want to be taking care of my kids, but I can't let the ball drop on this because I need to make sure that we're protected. I need to make sure that we have money to do the things that we need to do. And so this situation that was impossible to begin with became even harder because she didn't have the information. Now, sometimes people think that when you have life insurance and you have a will, everything is taken care of, right? That's a complete estate plan. And from a legal perspective, from a financial perspective, maybe that's the case. But those two documents don't lay out exactly where your bank accounts are. They don't lay out who your beneficiaries are on things like retirement accounts and 401ks. They don't tell you, how long it's going to take you to access your life insurance policy. And so this is a little bit of a cheeky, funny story that we had. But this guy wrote into us that his father-in-law had passed away. And for years, all he had said to his kids was, all of the information is in the safe. All the documents are in the safe. All the documents are in the safe. Well, this safe was a built into the basement safe in his house. He had never told anybody the passcode to get into the safe. So all of the information is contained in this safe that they can't get into. So they don't know the attorney that he used to get his estate plan. They ripped apart his entire office looking for somewhere that this code was written down. They ended up having to call a locksmith and drill into the safe to get it open, which then damaged this safe, this very expensive safe that is built into the wall, to get the information out. And then even still, that he didn't have something like the family emergency binder that laid out every single account. And so then it was filing through the paperwork he did have, some of which was 15 years old, to figure out, how do we go and actually take ownership of the accounts that he left behind? How do we make sure that we're not leaving stones unturned? Where is the deed to the house? All that kind of stuff became a lot messier. But it's even those little things of, like, even when you think you're organized, if you haven't spelled out those details that Ty was mentioning that we have in the binder, it's those roadblocks that you don't even know until you've been through one of these situations.
Yeah. What I like about your binder that if anybody wants to get it, you all can grab it at hisandhermoney.com/ICE. That's for in case of emergency. So it's ICE. You were so kind enough to give our audience, and you don't even offer this, but you were kind enough to give our audience 15% off. So thank you for that. If you use code HHM, it'll just be for a few days, you guys, until it's no longer available, the particular code. But however, it's still worth the money no matter what the price is. What I like about this is that you have it laid out to where if you have grown children, minor children, or no children, like when somebody gets that binder, they get all of that. So for somebody that may not have children now, they may have children in the future. And then those minor children can also become grown children, like for our case. Talk about the 3 different options, why you went that route, and what are some of the things that people can expect to find to help them put together this family emergency binder.
Sure, absolutely. So every binder, regardless of your family's structure, has 3 sections. They have the basic information, which is like what keeps your life running day to day. What are important phone numbers? What are doctors' information? Where do you keep your documents, your important documents, right? Because if you keep a digital version of the binder, you might not have originals in that digital version, right? So you need to note for people, where do you actually go and find the originals? It's basic information. The second part of it is your financial information. And this is where you keep all of your bank accounts, all of your investment accounts, your investment plan for your partner, for whoever your next of kin is. Your debt information is all in financial information. And then in the end is estate planning. And so this is where we really lay out, where is the will? What are my burial wishes? What letters do I want to leave for loved ones? What things do I want them to know? How do I want certain pieces of my legacy to be handled? And of course, none of this is legally binding, but it's a way to kind of pass wishes on to your family and give a message that was written in a place where you are healthy and full mind and things like that. The difference that breaks down is if you have minor children, the things that you need to consider, there's a lot more detail. There's thinking about their medical care. And so this is one that actually comes up a lot. And I was so glad you brought up Talit not knowing the kid's doctor, because this is one that people don't realize, is that even if a grandparent, even if it's a family member who needs to bring your kid to the doctor, they get pink eye or they have strep throat or they break their arm or whatever it is, if you're away and the grandparents are watching the kids and they try to take them to the doctor in most states, it's a vast majority of states, cannot treat them and cannot prescribe the medication without written permission from the parent, which means either mom and dad needs to get home or they have to go through this whole process of faxing forms to the doctor, which is always a headache. And so for us in the minor section, there is a place for a medical power of attorney for minors. And so for our family, those forms only last for a year. And we have it filled out both for my mom and for my in-laws, who both frequently watch the boys for us. And when we go away, even if it's just for a weekend, we pull those pages out of the binder and we leave them in the kitchen for whoever's watching the kids. And once a year, when we go through the process of updating our binder, we just change the dates on those forms and update them so that they can last for the next year. But it's things like that for kids. And also, I mentioned at the top of the episode that my parents both lost a parent when they were young. And so I had deep conversations with my mom about, what that experience was like. And she was like, even though her mom was still there, her mom was busy with planning the funeral and grieving on her own and things like that. And the other family members that were stepping in to help with my mom, they didn't necessarily know what extracurriculars she was in. What was her teacher's name that she needed to speak to? What sports or activities was she in at that time? And so we have a page for each kid in the minor section version that says what is your kid's favorite meal? What makes them feel safe and home, right? What is their best friend's name and how do you contact them? Who do you what stories do they like to read? And that page has to be updated. Like I said, we have a yearly event where my husband and I flip through all the pages and update what needs to be updated. But this is a way that if your child had to be passed to a guardian, either short-term or long-term, they can create a stable environment for your child, right? Because anytime a kid is going through grief and major change, having some elements of their life stay as similar as possible are very helpful for their mental health and for their process. And so we have that included in the binder. For grown children, we have legacy letters. So things that, we don't always think to ask our relatives, things to ask our parents. But we want them to know, right? These are great stories. And some of these, my grandfather passed when I was 16. He was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and passed 4 months later. And he and I were very, very close. And at the time, I had an English teacher who said, I think you should send him a question about his life every single day for as long as he lives from this point forward. And so I sent him emails. Sometimes we sent letters. If I was with him in person, I'd ask. And we asked a ton of questions, things like, what was your first kiss? And how did you meet my grandmother? And what were you afraid of when you were a little kid? And we compiled all these answers. And it was such a meaningful thing. It still such is that I can go back through and see these stories from him. And so we pull out a few of those questions, types of questions for you to write down for your grown kids and pass down so that they know those stories and that they can pass them to their kids and so forth. And so we have that for grown children. And then if you don't have kids, we just kind of simplify the binder. We pull out all the kid stuff so you can focus in on what's important to you. And if I'm not going on too long here, guys, for a second, I will mention that we hear often from people, well, I don't have kids, I'm single, I don't need this product, right? It's called Family Emergency Binder and it's just me. But the reality is, if it's just you, no one else knows your systems. Like nobody knows where you bank, right? Nobody knows where you keep your documents. And that means whether it's a sibling or a friend who's going to be taking over or trying to take care of you if something happens, you need to hold their hand even more than somebody whose partner at least has watched the routines, right? And so that's why we created a version just for people who aren't necessarily married, don't necessarily have kids, but still need to organize this information.
So good.
I think that it's important to note that for the person that kind of feels overwhelmed or this isn't their jam, the fact that you don't have to think, you just kind of fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Like you have everything outlined. Oh yeah, I never thought of it. Things that we take for granted that we just do.
Yep.
Where the point is, we're trying to set things up so that things can be
Let's
normalized.
set our houses in order.
Yeah.
One of our last videos that we brought you guys, a live video, something that the Lord had us doing in our home, where we told you guys we were getting things in order and purging things, and that meant on the business side, financially, all of that spiritual side. Like this is another step to literally get your house in order. Like for me, it's time out for being all over the place. Like y'all should be tired of that, right? Having to gather this document and then gather that document, having to try to find your social security card, having to try to find all these different things. Let's just get things in order. And this emergency binder is timely. Somebody said something about COVID made this task seem very timely. Love my emergency binder. I think that this pandemic has made some of us really look at our lives and look at our affairs, our financial affairs. Talk about the financial portion that's included in this family emergency binder. Somebody asked, how much is it? It's $39, well worth it. We had an opportunity to go through it. We also have a binder as well. But if you use code HHM for his and her money, you'll get 15% off, but it's worth it. And I love that when you get it, you'll have the option to you'll get everything from the no children to the minor children to the grown children. It's there for you. And there's a printable version where if you like to write with pen and paper, you can print it. Or there's a fillable, so you can literally fill it in on your computer and then save it, download it to your computer, put it on I definitely highly recommend that you print a copy, have a physical copy somewhere, also probably give a physical copy to someone that you trust, right? And maybe you could talk about that, just like how should they store this thing? Should they put it on a thumb drive, also download it to their computer? Should they give it to family members? Should they put it in a safe? I want you to talk about how we should be storing our important emergency stuff.
Absolutely. This is one of the most common questions we get, which is, how do I keep this information safe, right? I'm putting down all of my important account numbers. I'm putting down all of my passwords. This seems really dangerous. And so what I recommend is, like you mentioned, having one physical version. And so at least one physical version. So we have a physical version that lives in our safe. It's locked in our fireproof safe in our house. We also have a physical version that lives at my mom's house. She is the named first guardian for our boys if something happens to my husband and I. And so I want her to have easy access. Then the other way that we keep it that is easiest to update is we have 3 thumb drives. And so anytime you guys have like those little USB drives, you can set them up to have a password associated to get into that system. And so we actually have in the setup guide for the family emergency binder a link of how to do that, how to set up a password for your thumb drive. But so we have one, my sister-in-law has one, and my mom has one. So my sister-in-law is second on the guardian list after my mom. And once a year, We collect those 3 thumb drives, we plug them into my computer. I update the document on one thumb drive, copy it over to the other 2, and send them back out. And then we print any pages that changed. Year to year, there's not necessarily a ton of things that have changed. And so there's not a lot of printing year to year, but we want to make sure those versions stay updated. And while having multiple kind of footballs of this information around, the problem is we have heard stories of people whose houses have burned down, stories of people who've had major floods. And you want to make sure that the version of it isn't just in your house. And by keeping it on a thumb drive, and it's at a safe at my mom's, the physical version's at a safe at my mom's house as well. By having the thumb drives, it's easy to update. And it's not online. And so one of the things we worry about is when people email us and say like, hey, can I save it in Google Drive? Or like, hey, can I save it in Dropbox? And sure, those services are relatively secure, but they're not encrypted. And so I wouldn't put all of your password information in there, but make sure that you have that in place. Somebody said, how long does the yearly update take you? So my husband and I will sit down and we will do it with our version in about 2 hours. We sit next to each other on the couch. We flip through every page. In general, we keep our finances pretty organized. We only have, one main bank account and one main account for our emergency fund. We invest all at the same place. And so there's not a lot of moving pieces. It's mostly updating the information for the kids. And then if we've like added any new assets, we'll update that. And so we go through in about 2 hours. We talk through what we see. And then it probably takes not more than an hour, half an hour to an hour to update everybody's once the main version is updated. So it's a process, but it's also something that we've built into our annual financial review. I'm sorry if you can hear my kids screaming. It's just mom life right now. I have a 3 and 5-year-old and they've been quiet for a while and they're starting to lose it. But we've built it into our annual financial review and a place to say like, okay, have we checked in? What are our goals? What's changed? And so it's just become part of that process.
That's good. For those of you all who are asking where can you go, it's on the screen. Go to hisandhermoney.com/ICE. So that's ICE. So hisandhermoney.com/ICE. Use the code HHM to get 15% off. I see some of you all are already grabbing your binders. Kudos to you. Now, when y'all grab this binder, make sure you all do it. Like literally
use it.
Put it on the calendar,
Jeez,
set a
people,
date,
use
set
it.
a date and set a time to say, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to really take my time and fill out the information. I love it that when you buy it once, it's yours. Like you can print it out as many times you want.
Remix it.
Exactly. Fill it in. I like the financial portion to this emergency binder. I saw where you had places there for investments, rental property information. I like how everything's kind of housed kind of in this same particular document, that if you want to print it out, you could put it in a literal binder or put it in a file cabinet, but you have everything there that pertains to your life, from the medical sides, from the family side to the financial side.
Yeah. So part of that was what I talked about at the beginning of why we originally created it, right? If my husband was going to have to take over this, and I didn't want him to have to learn everything straight off if something happened to me. And so we tried to make it as clear as possible. And the basics of that are laying out your bank accounts and how to access them, including passwords and account numbers, laying out what your debts are and how much the balance is and what the interest rate is and when you plan to have it paid off by. Those are kind of the real basics in your investments. But then there's a place for your regular bills. And so this is a really important section that often gets overlooked. What are the things you're paying on a regular basis and how do they get paid? Do you have to write a check? Are they on auto pay? And if they're on auto pay, what account or credit card are they coming out of? We hear all the time stories about, hey, that bank account only had $1,000 in it. And so I emptied it and closed it, but now we have all these, the lights didn't stay on because it was supposed to auto pay from that account and that account didn't exist. And so we lapsed on our bill, right? And so it's a place to lay out exactly how those things are paid, because especially if you're talking about a true outside the family member, right? Something happens to you and now your kids are going to another guardian or your next of kin. What happens is that they might want to combine everything into their bank accounts. They might want to move things to a different bank. They might want to consolidate. And so as you're starting to close accounts, now you're wondering about where do those payments come from? The last two things that we have in the binder in the financial section that I think is really crucially important. The first is what to do with life insurance money, right? And so this is a page that literally has like a space for 6 steps breaking down what do you do with this money? Because the whole point of getting life insurance is making sure that that money lasts to either keep your family afloat while your partner goes back to work or changes their expenses, helps the kids pay for college, helps pay off the mortgage, whatever it is. And so you want to make sure the money does that. So for us, what we recommend the first step to be always is to take 95% of that insurance money, stick it in a high yield savings account for 6 months. Right? Let it sit there. Do not make decisions with big amounts of money in the center of grief. Grief makes our brains operate differently. It puts us in where we tend to be overspenders when we're in grief. And so what we told my husband was like, simple, just set it there. It's not going to decline in the market. Nothing's going to happen to it. We have, we know that our emergency fund lasts for 6 months. And so he will have money from that to deal with the first 6 months, and then decide what to do with the money. The next step is to decide whether he wants to invest it himself, or he wants help. And so the second page that's helpful is, what is your investment plan? And so for us, we lay out, we self-manage our investments. We lay out what our portfolio strategy looks like, what kind of things that we own. But I am an investment professional. That's my background. That's not my husband's background. And while he 100% has the smarts and the knowledge to do it himself, because investing's not really that complicated when you break it down, he might not want to. And so I give him a place where I name 3 financial advisors that I know and trust and say, if you decide you don't want to do it yourself, call one of these 3 people. Don't fall for somebody who's not going to have your best interest in mind or who's going to rack up huge investment fees. These are the people that we trust. Call them first. And so if you're someone who manages the majority of the finances, make sure you've spelled that out. And if you don't have a specific person, at least tell them where to look, right? Ask Uncle Joe, who has a decent financial advisor, ask him who he would use, or go to the XY Planning Network and find somebody locally. Those are the type of things that really make it so that your loved one has as few decisions as possible to make in that difficult moment.
Yeah. So good. You guys grab your family emergency binder by going to hisandhermoney.com/ice. The link is on the screen. As well,
in the description box.
And in the description box, use code HHM for His and Her Money for another 15% off. This has been great. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to ask. So as we conclude, I want you to hit home again, because a lot of times we hear good information, but we don't act on good information. Some of us have listened to this and be like, yeah, man, I really need to do that. But then as soon as we log off, the distractions of life return. And we forget that this was actually something that we needed to do. Yeah. And then, like you said, you get those messages at the point of emergency from people saying, this happened and now I'm paying attention. So we teach proactivity here at His and Her Money. So again, I need you to convince us to make this a priority real quick, and I love the fact that this is doable. Like sometimes
very much
some parts of estate planning, some parts of wealth building, some parts of money management are difficult and lofty and take a whole lot of brain power. No, you can get this from Chelsea. Just fill in the blanks.
Well, I was going to say that, sure, some of you all may be asking, well, can I do this on my own? Do I have to get the emergency binder? Sure, you can do it on your own. You can find the information, figure out which documents.
Why do all that Googling?
Which documents and things like that. Or you can actually go the route where somebody actually has done it themselves, has used it for multiple years, has also, how many people thus far has gotten your family emergency binder? Do you know?
Over 9,000.
What?
Dang.
That's incredible. Over 9,000.
I didn't know you was going to say that, man.
But that just goes to show you, people know that this is important.
This is real.
Again, you guys, if you all are coming in, share this. If you're watching replay, hit replay or type replay. But over 9,000 people have gotten their homes in order. Hopefully they've used it. What are you waiting for? Go to hisandhermoney.com/ice. For those of you
who asking the price, somebody just said it. That she spent more money at Chick-fil-A than it cost.
Let me tell you something. We was at Chick-fil-A this morning.
Chick-fil-A,
and we did for just us two. So you're absolutely right.
It's actually a fact.
Yes, it's actually a fact. So absolutely, you all get your lives in order. Get your families. Just set your family up. I'm always big about being proactive, and I love to learn from others who may know a little bit more than me. And in this case, Chelsea, you hit it home with this. When I dug into your binder, I was like, whoa, this was incredible. Yeah. It's like nothing that I've seen. Yeah. Like I've seen other printables and things like that online, but this was well put together, very, very detailed. You gave instructions. It was very clear and precise, hands down, top notch. So
thank you.
Yeah. So you can go ahead and just answer this question, but I want to make sure that I let that be known.
Hit it home.
Yep.
Wake us up.
All right. First thing, what Talit was just saying on the Googling, we have talked to dozens of estate attorneys and lawyers and experts about how to fill this out. There's a whole section in there, even on military. We had Doug Nordman, who runs the military guide, actually help me set up what do you need to lay out if you are a military veteran or active military duty that is different from if you're a civilian, right? All of the blanks are in there to fill out. It's going to save you a lot of time. Just use the binder. But the hit home part is that I hear way too many stories about people whose estate plan was sitting in the inbox waiting to be signed and notarized when they passed away over the weekend. Or I talked to my spouse about needing to get life insurance. He said he was going to do it next weekend and he got in a car accident during the week and passed away. We don't know when life is going to happen. And my hope for all of you is that you live long, healthy lives and you never need this binder. But if you do, you need it to be filled out now. And one of the things we tell our people when they buy, and if you buy, you're going to get this email in about a week. And I'm going to tell you that if you bought the binder, now you 100% have the responsibility to fill it out. Because if your loved one, something happens and your loved ones are trying to organize everything and they find in your inbox this document that would have helped them that is not filled out, they're not going to be happy. Like this is not going to be a good memory, right? And so you have to commit to filling it out because you don't know what's going to happen. And it's not just the big things. It's not just the big scary things. We bought a new house last year and my husband and I used the binder to figure out what accounts we had to change our address on. You know that really annoying process of having to go through every credit card and every subscription and change it? We had a list because it was in the binder and we just tick, 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 tick down. When we changed pediatricians for our boys when we moved, we had their information. We had what medications they had been on in the past and we had their old doctor's records right there to just give to the old doctor. This is a way to make your family a little more organized and to make sure that you're protecting them and loving them regardless of where you are.
That's so good. So good. Somebody said, I wish someone told me that when my mother passed away. Absolutely. Millicent, I think we all can relate to various stories in our lives where it was like, this would have made things so much better. And I think we have responsibility now. So you all are getting your money together. I know if you all have been following His and Her Money, you guys are definitely getting your lives in order and just becoming better. So make sure that you just have this in order as well too. Family emergency binder. Everyone should have one. Go to hisandhermoney.com/ICE and ICE. That stands for in case of emergency. And use the code HHM for 15% off. We can't thank you enough. Thank you for being generous to our audience. Thank you for sharing what you know, what you've learned along the way. And thank you for this amazing discount too.
Yeah, guys, we brought you the expert. We brought you the resource. And we even brought you a doggone discount. Like, what else can we possibly do? Y'all got to do the work.
Yep. And let us know if you got it. I see some of you all say that you got it. Let us know if you got it. We want to kind of give you a high five virtually. So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, way to go, you guys. Awesome. I love it. Somebody said, is it easy to purchase these as gifts? That's a good idea.
So we have that happen a lot, Regina. So there's two ways to do it. You can either just put in the gift recipient's email as you check out, and they will immediately get the binder and fill out. If you want to buy for multiple family members, that's something we often do volume discounts. So if you want to send us an email, we've had people buy for like all their siblings and their parents and things like that. And so we can set that up as well. So you can just email me at chelsea@smartmoneymamas.com. We're actually just made a deal with an estate attorney of all things that we're going to be selling him 2,000 of the binders for him to use with all of his clients because he saw the binder and saw the value. And so definitely worth it. Definitely check it out.
Great job.
And so, yeah.
You did a great job with this binder. I got to give it to you. So
thank you.
While the opportunity is here, you guys go to hisandhermoney.com/ICE to grab yours. Thank you so much, Chelsea. We appreciate you. We should all be getting our family emergency binder in order this year. This should be our assignment.
And we're not telling you nothing that we
haven't done ourselves.
Aren't going to do.
Yep.
Or we haven't already done.
That's
guys.
right.
We're trying to be a blueprint
that's right.
for you guys to follow. So when we find good information and when we find super smart people,
not good to keep it to ourselves.
Like Chelsea, we tell y'all, we share it because we want y'all to win too.
That's right.
So take action. Again, it's not enough to just buy it and let it sit in your inbox.
Do it.
Buy it
together.
Fill it out. Give it to the people that need it and secure your family.
And we felt like this would be perfect at the top of the year. This is our first video, guys, actually of the year. And we came to you, Chelsea. We said, we think our audience needs this. Like right now, if you go to our website, it's on our website, but we felt like doing a video. This will help so many people who probably don't realize that they need it. They're going to need it. So Thank you. I have been trying to create my own. So, Lisa,
Yeah,
I'm a
about it.
DIYer, but I don't like DIYing. If somebody's already figured it out, I'm like you. Somebody else can figure it out. Let's just do it. So I love that. You all go to hisandhermoney.com/ice. Leave us a comment in the comment section below. If you're watching the replay, hit replay and share this video and give this video a thumbs up.
All right, that's all we got for this time, guys.
Oh, somebody say, how long will the discount be available?
Till the end of January. So through January 21st.
January, you guys. She's been generous. So thank you. That's about a little over a week. So don't procrastinate. If you have the money to do so and it's in your means, by all means, go ahead and do it. But the perks, you have about a week. So, yep.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Peace.